Welcome back, audience. As always, hope you're doing good. A little bit of tea left. And I want to talk about, or point to rather, this phenomena that love is not a choice. Truth is not a choice either. Can you believe that? Now, to see that it is so, it is one of the most deepest points of awareness there is. And to me, it's like unbelievable that unless that is there, there is no love. And it is so important to see that because indeed it is a motion of consciousness that is either away from what is and pursuing alleviation of the tragedy of being nothing and everything into some sort of pursuit of pleasure. That can include meditation, exercise, everything that gets you high. Now I'm saying? Or whatever that may be. That psychological pursuit of pleasure. It is not love. And unless that process ends, love will not be there. Because the motion is that seeking for something in the next that is better than the now. And the premise is that the now is so horrible that I have to go into the next. But for a change, you may just go and tune to that thing that you're trying to run away from. And if there's any kind of irregularity there, you immediately begin to feel it burning in that stillness and silence. And then if you no longer are in that pursuit motion, but you're fully attentive, what's going on by default, then you may want to bring sensations. That's one of the things that I keep on connecting the dots on, and that is you can open all of your sensations to that infinite space. Or if there's anything there, upon when you completely focus on the stillness and the silence, right now I do feel like something's burning, like a coal burning. But at the same time, I open up all of my senses to it. And it radiates out into my senses. Which is that reward that you kind of been seeking for. but it's already there and it's always. And if you just open all of your senses to it, that infinity, that motion that is timeless. And the reason it's timeless is because it's the motion that is never changing. It's a perfect motion. That's the source of the coherence, if you will. The motion of infinity. And as soon as it changes a little bit, it becomes into the motion of time. It becomes patterns, colors, things like that. Okay? But at least you arrive to the point of like the infinity, where it's like right here with you. And all that you gotta do is just open up more to the senses. And it's already that radiance starts buzzing your body like with deep enjoyment. And so to be in that process of alchemy, that you feel something burning, but at the same time connecting all your senses to it and letting it radiate, it puts you into this enjoyable, you even enjoy that process of the alchemy as it's happening. The enjoyment comes from the byproduct of your ego burning up. Rather than trying to gaslight your own ego or, grow your ego. So you see, there's two different motions that's going on there. So, because there's only two ways to have or receive that, man, it's such an interesting game, because and it is so important to arrive to this point. And the more you then play with your attention and awareness, the more fascinating this thing is. It's like a mysterious thing. And at this point, like, you're not really trying to do anything, you're just opening all your senses and let it just go into your senses, light them up basically. And so whenever your body, which is senses, is full of those ecstatic sensations that you did not seek, and it's not temporal, then you may want to form some sort of pattern from it. Rather than seeking the pattern that gives you the alleviation from the ego, you are just completely focused on that, placing full attention on the source of it and the background of it. And that in betweenness of those is where you want to kind of play. It's neither this, neither that. It's like not a particle, neither wave. And sometimes you can be just like more particly, more wavy, more particly, more wavy. You can create that pattern if you want. It's already vibrating at like a highest frequency possible, but you can start creating patterns with it, and that's like a real music with your soul that you're creating. But you're just like moving those feelings into a pattern, but they're already radiating. And that's another faculty of consciousness called enjoyment. You're moving the joy into the shape. which is enjoyment, as opposed to what was before, or in the other way, the dark way, is pursuing that pleasure, which, like I said, it can be through the meditation, this all the exercises that like all these people are teaching people and stuff like that. You understand? And if you this way, you keep on needing, and it creates this type of follower, and dynamic, and it's all nonsense. Not only nonsense, is backwards. And the true purification, if you will, happens in that complete and total uh, backwards folded attention or something like that. It's just like that thing from where we run, we go back to, place attention there, and it's a very good beginning to start bringing in that space. And you can even notice that there's this motion to still try to like seek, but that's the one that you want to just keep on relaxing and relaxing that motion. And the motion dies out. And that is that little, it's not really little, is what you, that motion from what is to how it should be, is what you would call all bad. That's not how the soul's supposed to function. That's how ego functions in that direction. And so when there's that direction, there is a choice. I want this pleasure, I don't want this pain, kind of thing. And so now you have to navigate, avoid things and things like that, and choose what, where, and all that stuff. And then the confusion is there as well, because you're trying to choose at that level, and that's why love is not a choice. I mean, if love is there and you choose something else but love, you made the choice, and that got you out of love. You know? But this space and this radiance has its own intelligence. You don't have to control it. It's choosing everything for you. At that particular level, at the level of love, there is no choice. Love is not a choice. And you just want to remain there. And if anybody tries to like take you out of it, just remain there. Like you can function normally while your attention and awareness is always like, you know, falling back onto itself. This is not like uh, you know, meditation in the morning, in the evening, stuff like that, which is ridiculous, because then you're just trying to seek something. It's supposed to be your life as you live. What do you do with your consciousness? You know. So love is not a choice. Neither is the truth. So internally, feeling wise, emotionally wise, psychologically wise, the motion is supposed to be infinite, out of which you fold the patterns, which is an enjoyment. Okay, so that's how your soul's supposed to function. If your soul is not functioning this way, then you're functioning out of ego. Anything you're going to do with your mind, no matter how brilliant it is just going to create more incoherence, more nonsense, more belief systems and stuff like that. Which what happens then, it creates even more matter, which is manure, crap, for the alchemy. This is why sometimes you may see that, like, oh my god, like how can there be so much crap? It just seems keep on burning and burning and burning, like Nigredo is continuing, and it's almost like you get used to the Nigredo stage, which is sometimes just keeps going. And so you're cleaning up, you're purifying by being in that state all the time, which becomes an enjoyable process that's not seeking of anything, because it's already there and it's just bubbling, and doing its thing. But nevertheless, there's so much there. And like I said, at this point, obviously you realize that there's nothing is yours or somebody else's. You are in the reality where that is so, and you're just filtering that out and just keep burning it up and using that energy into a glow and just enjoyment. And then we can go a little bit deeper into this, but you have to at least be at this point of continuous burning up, if there's anything to burn up, and falling into that stillful motion. Just by having the capacity to move your attention to the thing that makes you trying to be something else that it is, right? It's so interesting. And this is what, like, how you see in the personalities. Everybody's trying to be somebody else than what it is, because they think what it is so bad. But if you really look at it, it's just like everything starts burning up, and it's like, oh shit, it's not so bad. Not a piece of shit, turns out, because when I looked at it, the piece of shit just burned off. Right? And that's the beginning. Sorry, guys. Just setting up the fires and putting them out. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to the gym today, maybe. Just a little bit. Okay, guys. I'm gonna go one step further, assuming that you are settling into that, and you already have connected your senses, all of your senses, to the source of it, and you already feel the tingles spreading or something like that, right? But as a consequence, you have not pursued them. Don't try to, you see, because that's what's going to happen. If you try to pursue it, that knot in your chest or whatever just going to go boof, right? And then if you use that willpower to pursue it and ignoring that feeling, then you're just going to go into the dark. But go into that feeling that pops up when you try to pursue it. And through that, whatever you wanted is just kind of going to be given. And I talked about neutron stars and black holes and black dwarfs that happens after the lifespan of the sun or the star. And one of those things turn into a black hole and a neutron or the neutron star. And I said that the black hole is kind of a negative thing. And I also said that major neutron stars have black hole in them. But it turns out, because I looked into this, that what really happens is that two stars go through the life cycle. One of the star goes into the black hole. That's the feminine. And another star goes into the neutron star. That's the masculine. And what happens, they both attract each other. Immovable object and unstoppable force is coming in union together. That is the center of the galaxy. That is the most sweetest spot there is. And that is the completion of Philosopher's Stone. So there's this burning up and becoming what you really are. And as a man, you may start feeling like that point, that diamond in your chest that is kind of radiating, you know? And as a consequence of that coal burning up, and as a woman, you already may feel yourself like as an expanse, more wave than a particle. And as a man, as having that neutron star in your chest, and moving into that space, that openness, that expanse, unites the neutron star with the black hole, the void. And that's the beginning of a new story, the real story. Up to that point, it was just like a birth of that. Does that make sense, guys? And as a man, you will never be able to run away from being that neutron star. And you'll be always going to be in the relationship, as long as you're incarnated in the dual reality, you're always going to be in the relationship with that black hole. And as a black hole, always cannot help but it will always fall back onto that expanse, but always be in the relationship with the neutron star. So if you look at the astrophysics, you can very confidently name neutron stars as the Jesus, Christ, and black holes as the Mary Magdalene. I think that would be accurate. Because this is it, like when a woman carries that real void energy, that love, that peace, you know? And the same way, if a man carries that single centeredness, diamond bliss energy, there's somehow, some way, they will find together. And that is going to be true love. It's not going to be any kind of decision made. It's not going to be any kind of manipulating anything. It's like not going to be any like, it depends of what I do, what kind of value I have is what I do, or how I look, or how I, that's none of that is anything to do with love. So you see how stupid it is to try to like improve yourself in your soul kind of thing, and pursue that thing and use your mind to play the role of infinite, which is impossible, you know. Okay, guys, what else can I say about this? And so that eliminates so much confusion, and there's the clarity. And funnily enough, the clarity is in that confusion. But if you don't let that confusion be and coalesce itself into something solid and clear, which what neutron star is, then you're going to have to borrow that, pre-existing idea or belief that your mind has, and that's going to be a pursuit of that alleviation, that pleasure once more, because you make your mind up before you even let that thing coalesce. You have to let that thing coalesce. And that's why the truth comes out not through your mind. When you let it completely process it through. Hmm. Right. So it's almost like you are letting your heart give you the answer without pursuing the answer, but actually going into the question and not making your mind up. And how does it look like? It just looks like, I don't know, like if you're interacting with somebody or whatever, and it's just like still letting everything burn. If there's a burning sensation, move everything, and don't get your mind into it and start judging and um, deciding before that process takes place, because give it a chance for your heart to give you an answer. Don't make a choice about love, right? Yeah. And in that silence, the most resistant things still burn up. And this silence, this stillness is the most powerful thing. That is the black hole. That is the void. That destroys everything that is a matter and provides all that space which cannot be invaded by the matter. And the only thing that it keeps for itself is the neutron star. It accepts nothing but the truth, the pure truth. Any lie which is a matter, which is based on time space, is burned up and ejected as these gamma rays in the neutron star. So that's the cosmic story, and that is the mythology as well of life here. And I think a lot of us just going through that inflation phase and burning everything up, and some of us gonna turn into neutron stars, some of us in black holes, but not that we are going to be separate in the heart anyway. And these adequate neutron stars and adequate black holes are going to reunite. This is what's happening in the cosmos, by the way. I just watched up. Is that a thing? I don't think it's a thing, but we can make it a thing. I caught up on what's going on with astrophysics lately, and yeah, just watch some of those like neutron star black hole phenomena, the latest ones, what they found out, and you'll see the story. You'll see the story. The star expanding, turning into red giant, blowing over into the supernova, going into the black hole, and that's the feminine, or going into the neutron star, that's the masculine. And guess what? And then they are finding each other out and uniting again. And so by this token, I think you can safely say there's all sorts of neutron stars that are out there as well, but I think you can safely say that what's really going on there, it's every neutron star is on a trajectory to be melted with some black hole. It's just the way it is. And then when they do, that's like a cosmic explosion that happens. And that is creation of the galaxy. Because at the center of each galaxy that's already living and running, you'll find the neutron star and a black hole running the whole show. And it seems that like how many of these black holes and neutron stars in the cosmos? A lot of them. And I don't know if I don't know if all neutron stars, I don't have this information, but I know that like this story is happening, okay? I don't know how many already merged, how many in the process of merging, how many process just like burning off that inflation phase. But this is the process, what's going on. And it's very relatable because you can feel it happening in your heart. Watching that pulsar, which is a neutron star pulsating, it's like watching your own heart. You know? So and you also can gauge of how much crap there is based on that burning sensation in your heart. But you see, like when you're in that state, everything that is not it keeps burning up. But the one interesting thing that I discovered lately is just like much more enjoyable is to already radiate that into the senses. So there's this um, burning it up, but also already radiating that at the same time. Now, you see what I'm trying to say? Does that make sense? And so it helps you to be more functional in life because you're already radiating that energy, and that energy is fueling your senses and your motor functions, and you're more alive, so to speak, rather than when you're just completely trying to be focused on it. And you know, there's no need for that either. That gentle attention awareness gameplay. And that's what I know so far. I do also have to say that in a body, in a sensory motor world, 3D world, as they call it, um, there is a, you know, motive. There are choices, of course, for sure. But these are not existential choices, these are not choices of love or relationships. These are choices like, well, when to go, what to do, what to buy. You have to make choices, okay? And that is only in your brain and imagination as well. So mind and body, sure. So, no, you do not develop by making choices. Everything that you need to be attentive of, it's already there. You're not choosing it. You're just eating it, as I say. I don't know what you're doing there, but I know that's the way. And then I don't know. You can say, well, there's a lot of crap out there, and honestly, like the more people in your environment are pursuing and seeking that nonsense, the more of that matter you're gonna feel to burn up. It's just, I think it's like, to me, it's a measure of how dark the world is and how dark people are. And sometimes, like, there are moments of darkness where there's a lot to burn up. But I think it's good. Of course, it's good. But what I mean by that is that that's okay. Just keep burning it up, keep burning it up, and that will, the best thing that you can do to take away the will from the evil. Because all that direction is evil, whether it's minor or big, it's all evil. The knowledge of the knowledge of good and evil, huh? The good, the bad, and the beautiful. And of course, there's ugly, but the ugly is that motion, that initial motion of consciousness of the ugly and the beautiful. And then ugly will always create something that is good, and then the bad. And the beautiful, just beautiful. It's creating something beautiful. What else can I say? It's neither good, neither bad. It's beautiful. You cannot place a judgment upon beauty. It's so beautiful. So, anyway, that's my little rant for today. What else can I say about this? Yeah, so, from pleasure to enjoyment. pleasure is trying to fix something, and enjoyment is you already have joy and you're just shaping it in different patterns. This is why you may say, like, well, how is that like a motivation to do anything? Some people say that, like, well, if I'm just going to get rid of my suffering, then I won't be able to create my art. It's nonsense. The first thing I have to say is that whatever you've been creating up to that point from your suffering is bullshit. It's total fucking bullshit. It's none of it. I don't give a fuck that people like it. It's leading everybody to ugly. So it's okay to let that type of art creation go through this process of, self-immolation, come on the other side, and then maybe then the first time you'll see what beautiful is, and then your art is going to be worth of beauty. It's not an art. There's a lot of this thing that they call art. It's just bringing people more into this pursuit of pleasure and things like that, and you don't want your art to be like that. So you have to give it a chance to burn yourself up and see that new version, the true soul version of what kind of art it wants to create. And if it doesn't want to create anything at some point, then there's nothing you create, but you're still going to be in the presence of beauty. Okay? So that's the thing about creativity and art. And then the question is like, well, how am I going to be motivated to do anything then if I'm just like, blissing out all the time? There's a soul motivation, like called soul desire. Soul is already has joy. It doesn't need joy. But soul has another problem, which is like a wonderful problem to have, is now what do you do with all that joy? And so the soul wants to put it in patterns, in beautiful patterns and melodies. It has no problems. It just wants to create out of that joy into something beautiful. That's what your soul wants to do, and it doesn't want to do anything else. Just keep on pumping out the beautiful things from the joy. Create and play. That's your soul desire. Your soul just wants to create and play. They want to strive, achieve, accomplish something, prove the point, or whatever the fuck, people in the Matrix do. Fuck all of that. Sorry for swearing so much, but just to stress the point. And anyway, okay. And then all of that pursuing, all of that goal is only left in your body, because you need goals in your body, like you need, but they're not existential goals. They're just like the things to do, right? Okay, you need to make money, you need to go to the gym, you need to buy food, all these things that you have to do, these tasks, these are a to-do list, and that's the purpose that you have in life. See what I'm trying to say? You don't have this existential purpose anymore. You just want to create and play. And that's the best contribution to the society and the Matrix, and elimination of the Matrix as well. Just being that type of person that just keeps on burning up the crap and keeps creating something beautiful out of it, and just keeps on doing this over and over and again without any particular purpose or getting somewhere, because that process is infinite. You already know that it is infinite. So you're not trying to get anywhere, but you're just trying to create awesome, beautiful things. And you do this without any kind of pressure of that you have to do it or else. So we moved all of that seeking, and just we made it only about the body, which is very, very different. It's best to not even consider that thing when you're going through this, because you may not be able to distinguish whether it's just the task that you need to do, or your ego is trying to trick you to get to some pleasurable moment so you don't have to feel bad, right? But when you go through this, and there's already infinite, already that stillness and silence and joy there already, then you'll have clarity of what you actually need to do and what's just complete waste of time, and it was just a trick. So then you're your to-do list and a task and accomplishment of tasks become very precise, very clean, and no noise there. But that motion is left only in the body. And you cannot deny that you cannot in a body instantaneously appear or move the objects from one place to another instantaneously. You're going to have that desire to do so, but it's just going to be at the layer of your body where this type of desire or this wanting or anticipation is appropriate. It is quite appropriate in the body, because your body also wants to move things from one place to another, and your motor sensory system wants to do the motor and sensory things, right? And you do those things that makes the most sense, and that's it. So we're not saying that like, oh, now we need to abolish our life. No, your life is just going to be more cleaned up, and you're not going to do the tasks that were just pacifications. You're going to tasks that are essential, are true and real, and that's what you need to do. And all the things that you used to do just to like prove a point or due to like emotional reasons, they just go away. Okay. And the mind also functions in time, but now you're going to have a sort of, I don't want to say problem, but you're going to have a situation where you have to shape images. You still have to shape images, because your mind's going to want to shape images. That's not going to go away. But you're not going to shape any kind of images that pacify your your ego and whatnot. You're going to start shaping images that your mind wants to shape. And so there is time in mind as well, because to create an image, you need time, and that's okay. But the image is not going to be to make yourself feel better, which is usually what people do when they create an image of Jesus, image of God, or image whatever, which is, they become this, you see what I'm trying to say. That's nothing to do with God. That's the opposite of God. Ironically, the belief in God is the opposite of God. It's actually Luciferian. So when you have none of that, you still want to use your mind, but now your mind is not going to be overused with all these imaginary friends that they were there just to make you feel better, which was a type of pacification. When that is not, the mind is not used for that, then the mind is used for playfulness and creativity and what you want to create. But time there is okay. But desire, you see, it changes. Desire changes. Desire is no longer this like addiction. It's about connection. So there's a morphing of the desire. I think that there's a word called tworth or something like that. Anyway, there's a word that describes like really that type of addictive wanting, to having soul desire, which is out of joy, but it's there. This is why we're not negating life. We're not saying that this world is whatever. No, we're using this world, this time-space world, to create and play. And so that's the approach. But that desire is there. That desire is there. But it's interesting how it's different. It's no longer trying to make things work and putting them together. You already have this, and so you need to now play with it. That's how I would describe it. Anyway, enough for today. Hopefully you had a good consciousness calibration, and book a session if you need me to show you that. I don't know how I even call it, but that thing that just boom. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.